In the stillness of a quiet evening, a room is bathed in the soft glow of lamplight. Outside the window, a steady rainfall is being heard, its rhythm neither hurried nor heavy, but gentle and persistent. The world beyond the glass has been blurred, softened by droplets clinging to the surface. On rooftops and pavement, the rain is being collected, forming tiny rivulets that follow gravity's pull with patient, unspoken purpose. Blankets have been pulled close. Tea has been poured. The room is warm, and comfort has been invited to stay. With every drop that falls, another thought is being quieted. Another breath is being deepened. Another sense is being slowed. Rain has long been welcomed as a companion to stillness. It is not rushed. It does not demand. It simply arrives and remains, blanketing the world in its hush. Cities are muted. Forests are deepened in scent. Roads, rooftops, rivers, and gardens are all wrapped in the same curtain of sound. Across centuries, the same feeling has been evoked. In ancient times, fires were huddled around while outside, the rain was being heard beyond the shelter. In quiet libraries of the past, windows were watched as rain traced patterns against the glass. In farmhouses and apartments, in temples and towers, the rain has been noticed and respected. When it rains, the world is slowed. People move differently. Conversations are quieted. Plans are reconsidered. Blank pages are filled, sometimes with words, sometimes with silence. Eyes are closed not from exhaustion but from calm. It has been found that many minds settle more easily when rain is present. The repetition, the softness, the slight variations from one moment to the next, all of it has been noticed by those who listen. Sleep has often been welcomed more easily when rain is falling. In bedrooms around the world, it is chosen as background sound. It is recreated artificially, captured and looped for those who need help drifting into rest. But no substitute has matched the gentle complexity of real rain. It is neither too consistent nor too erratic. Each moment is different, yet predictably soft. Thoughts are not fought against when rain is falling. Instead, they are allowed to drift. Worries are not battled, they are released. A kind of rhythm is found, one that does not need to be kept or measured, but simply followed, as a quiet stream might be followed through a forest trail. In many lives, rain has been remembered not for its disruption but for its comfort. Childhood memories are often tied to its presence, the tapping against car windows, the scent of wet earth, the hush that fell over the schoolyard. Those memories have been carried forward, softened by time, and remembered with fondness. It is not only water that is brought when rain comes. With it, space is given. Space to pause. Space to sit. Space to breathe without agenda. In that space, a kind of peace is often found, not granted by effort, but revealed through quiet. Tonight, as the rain continues to fall, nothing is being asked. There is no task, no outcome to reach. Just the falling rain, the warm room, and the soft weight of stillness. Let the rain remain for a while. Let the world stay hushed. Let quiet thoughts be welcomed, and let nothing need to be done. Before cities were built and roads were laid, rain was heard on leaves and stone. Fires were lit beneath overhangs, and shelters of wood, earth, and hide were warmed while outside the skies were being opened. Rain was not yet measured or forecasted. It was simply received. In early communities, it was noticed that rain came with patterns. Certain times of year were favored by the clouds. Crops were planted and harvested according to what was learned. But before the science of weather was known, meaning was given to rain in other ways. Spirits were imagined in the clouds. Blessings were believed to be falling with the water. Where drought brought silence and hardship, rain brought renewal and song. Across many regions, dances were performed for rain. Movements were passed down, intended to call the skies into motion. Prayers were whispered. Sacred sites were built where rain had been seen to collect. Pools and springs were honored, their surfaces broken only by falling drops that had been welcomed as gifts. From one land to another, rain was not treated the same, but almost always it was noticed. Its absence was feared. Its arrival was cherished. Stories were told that rain was sent by ancestors or wept by gods. In ancient Mesopotamia, floods were remembered in myths. In Egypt, the rising of the Nile was watched with care, and its connection to rainfall in far-off lands was suspected long before it was understood. In Asia, monsoons were marked by festivals. In the Americas, offerings were made in the hope that clouds would be moved by gratitude. Within these traditions, rain was more than weather. It was presence. It was rhythm. It was a moment shared between the earth and the sky. That feeling has remained, even now. But then, in ancient days, it was felt more directly. No glass stood between the rain and those who listened. Roofs were not always firm, and walls not always dry. Yet even so, it was not always avoided. Children were allowed to run through the downpour. Ceremonies were held in the open, where the first drops would land on upturned faces. Paintings were made with pigment and water, their stories carried on walls. Scrolls were written in rooms where rain tapped softly against wooden shutters. The timing of a rainfall may have influenced the strokes of a brush or the line of a poem. Those details have been lost, but their echoes are still felt when old works are viewed. In the ruins of ancient cities, where aqueducts once flowed and clay was once molded by wet hands, it can be imagined how the people lived with rain. In the desert, a sudden downpour would have drawn neighbors from their homes, silent and smiling as the scent of dust being lifted filled the air. In the forest, rain would have dripped from tree to tree, and voices would have lowered in its presence. In the mountains, snow would have fallen in silence, another form of rain, cold but no less sacred. Even when it was feared, rain was never ignored. It shaped the calendar. It fed the rivers. It softened the ground for seeds. It was remembered in songs and carved into stone. And through all of this, rain was never hurried. It arrived at its own time, in its own way. And when it came, attention was given. Heads were lifted. Breaths were stilled. And a moment of quiet was allowed. Tonight, the rain that falls may be no different than what once touched the skin of those who watched the sky thousands of years ago. In its rhythm, the same stories are being whispered. Let them be heard. Through the centuries, rain has been painted, sung, and written into memory. It has been used to frame scenes of longing, to soften tales of solitude, and to create moods that could not be summoned by sunlight alone. Across cultures and across ages, rain has been given a place in the quietest corners of creative thought. In brushstrokes, rain has been suggested rather than shown. Skies have been greyed. Pavement has been streaked with reflection. Figures have been placed beneath umbrellas or cloaks, their faces turned away. In Japanese woodblock prints, rain has been etched in fine, diagonal lines, never loud, never sharp, but always present. In oil paintings of old Europe, rain-washed streets have been rendered with glistening care, the puddles left to shimmer under lamplight. In poetry, rain has been used as metaphor and setting, mood and message. Lines have been penned with its rhythm in mind. The patter of drops has been mimicked in meter. Melancholy has been softened by the mention of rainfall. Love has been remembered through the scent of rain. Endings and beginnings have both been marked by sudden downpours or slow drizzles fading into silence. Across languages, the sound of rain has been described in ways both simple and profound. In French verse, it has been called a lullaby. In Chinese poetry, it has been compared to silk brushing stone. In English, its touch has been likened to fingers on glass or tears on cheeks. The rain has not always been seen with sorrow, it has also been given warmth. Renewal. Reflection. Its presence has been treated as a reason to pause, to remember, to feel without effort. Stories have not always been told in bright daylight. In folktales passed down through generations, scenes have been set beneath clouded skies. Journeys have begun in storm-soaked woods. Conversations have unfolded on balconies as rain fell gently just beyond reach. Comfort has been found in shared silence while the world was being wrapped in mist. Characters have sat by rain-slicked windows, allowing thoughts to be heard without words. In the world of cinema, rain has long been chosen when stillness is needed. Not to heighten drama, but to soften it. A character alone with their thoughts is often accompanied by a slow, steady downpour. A moment of reflection is framed by water tracing the glass. Even joy, in its quietest form, has been underscored by the whisper of falling rain. Those scenes are remembered not for what was said, but for how they felt. Throughout time, the rain has allowed artists and storytellers to step aside and let the moment breathe. Space has been created. Meaning has been left open. With rain, silence has felt natural. A painter has left a brushstroke unfinished. A poet has ended a verse with a pause. A storyteller has described nothing more than the sound of rain as it fell in the distance, and the listener has understood everything. The rain has never needed to be explained. It has been felt. And in that feeling, countless works of art have been formed. As the rain continues tonight, its story is still being written. A curtain is being drawn. A lamp is being lit. A thought is being shaped not into dialogue, but into mood. That is the work rain has always done for artists and dreamers alike. Let it continue to fall. Let the words slow. Let the colors fade to gray, then to blue, then to soft and silent memory. In the corners of daily life, rain has been allowed to move quietly, unnoticed by the hurried world. And yet, in the stiller hours, it has been welcomed as a familiar presence, a sound remembered, a feeling returned. On rooftops, its tapping has been heard in steady rhythm, especially in the quiet hours before dawn. In bedrooms dimly lit by the softness of morning, the sound of rain has often been allowed to continue without interruption. Alarms have been silenced. Curtains have remained drawn. Sleep has been extended, not by effort, but by the comfort the rain has brought. On sidewalks, puddles have been formed and reflected the blurred shapes of trees, buildings, and passing umbrellas. Boots have been worn with purpose, splashes left behind like footprints of memory. Children have been pulled along in wagons beneath raincoats and hoods, their laughter softened by the weight of falling drops. The scent of wet pavement has been carried through open windows, mixed with the hum of traffic and distant voices. In kitchens, tea has been brewed while the rain continued to fall beyond the glass. Mugs have been cradled in both hands. Bread has been toasted, books opened, lights left low. On days when plans were changed by the weather, stillness has been found. Conversations have slowed. Chores have been paused. Time has been stretched as though the world outside were asking gently for less. In cars, the rain has tapped on windshields like a steady metronome. Windshield wipers have drawn their loops in silence, clearing just enough to see the blurred glow of red brake lights and green street lamps. Inside, music has been lowered. Thoughts have been allowed to drift. Across parking lots and empty roads, the rain has been carried like a quiet companion, neither welcomed nor denied, simply there. In waiting rooms, train stations, bus shelters, and office lobbies, people have watched rain fall without realizing how long they had been watching. The streaks on the glass have been followed by eyes that needed rest. Reflections in puddles have been studied without intention. Words have been left unsaid while the world outside whispered in its calm, liquid language. Rain has arrived in the middle of errands and meetings, in the gaps between responsibilities, during walks and during pauses. It has been noticed from balconies and porches, from stairwells and shops, from sidewalks and window sills. And in those moments, a small breath has often been taken, a pause, unclaimed by the clock, but remembered later with a quiet kind of gratitude. Even when it has been inconvenient, the rain has still provided something rare, the invitation to slow down. Under umbrellas, pace has been softened. In grocery store entrances, brief conversations have been exchanged. In laundromats and cafes, eyes have been drawn to the outside world, softened by grey and silver. In the evenings, as lights have flickered on behind curtains and doors, the sound of rain has filled the space between moments. Meals have been eaten. Stories have been told. Screens have been turned off. And in the background, the gentle cadence of falling rain has continued, unnoticed only by those already calmed by it. And so it continues tonight, falling on driveways and rooftops, on trees and gutters and garden chairs left out too long. It is not in a rush. It is not asking anything. It is simply falling, familiar, constant, and kind. Let it remain. Let the room stay quiet. Let the day be carried gently toward rest. Across continents and oceans, rain has been welcomed, endured, celebrated, and remembered. Though the landscapes have differed and the customs have changed, a quiet reverence has been shared. In each corner of the world, rain has shaped the seasons, the language, and the rituals of daily life. In tropical regions, rain has been received in bursts, sudden and strong. During monsoon seasons, streets have been filled with water, and windows have been closed to the sound of rushing drops. Yet, the rain has not been viewed as interruption alone. It has been awaited. Its return has been marked by festivals. Offerings have been made. In India, the arrival of the monsoon has been welcomed with open hands and lifted faces. Songs have been sung. Markets have shifted. Rice fields have turned from dry gold to soft green. In Japan, rain has been folded into daily life with quiet dignity. Aesthetic traditions have embraced its mood. In gardens, rain has been allowed to fall on moss and stone. Paths have been darkened by it, reflections softened by it. In tea houses and narrow alleyways, the tapping of rain against paper screens and tiled rooftops has been heard with appreciation. Words like "ame" have been spoken not with complaint, but with understanding. It has been said that rainy days are best spent indoors, listening. In Northern Europe, long rains have been known. Grey skies have lingered. Yet inside, warmth has been cultivated in response. The Danish concept of hygge has been born of such days, moments made gentle by the glow of candles, the comfort of wool blankets, and the softness of time passing without demand. In the United Kingdom, rain has been expected, and routines have been shaped around it. Umbrellas have been carried not just as tools, but as traditions. Conversations have often begun with the weather, and shared glances toward the sky have been exchanged in passing. In parts of Africa, rain has been more rare, and therefore, more revered. When it has fallen, communities have emerged to feel it. Drums have been played in rhythm with it. The land, cracked and quiet for weeks, has responded instantly. Green has returned. Livestock have been herded toward full troughs. Children have danced in its path. In some villages, the first rainfall of the season has been celebrated with food, laughter, and song. In South America, especially in the rainforests, the presence of rain has never left. It has formed a backdrop to life itself. Conversations have been held beneath corrugated metal roofs where the sound of rain was loud but not harsh. Markets have stayed open. Foods have been cooked. Hammocks have swayed. And still, the rain has fallen endlessly, effortlessly. In urban centers around the world, from New York to Seoul, rain has drawn the same reactions. Streets have glistened. Taxis have been hailed. Headphones have been worn beneath hoods. But even amid the rush, the sound of rain has still managed to slip through the hush between train announcements, the drops against windows during late-night bus rides, the silver sheen on sidewalks passed by in the early morning. In each of these places, the language used to describe rain has been different. The clothes worn to meet it have changed. The schedules it has disrupted have varied. And yet, the feeling it has brought, the slow settling of thought, the soft narrowing of the world, has been nearly the same. Wherever rain has touched, it has asked for attention without speaking. It has slowed the steps of travelers, turned eyes upward, and reminded many that nature, though unseen for most of the day, still moves, still speaks, still offers a rhythm worth hearing. Tonight, it may be falling elsewhere. In a rice field, on a narrow street, across tiled rooftops or thatched huts. In each place, it is heard in its own way, but always it is heard. Let it be shared. Let its rhythm be recognized, no matter where the listener lies. Across the world, the sound of rain has been heard and named in countless ways. Different words have been spoken, different images conjured, yet the essence has often remained the same. The language of rain has not only been formed through syllables, but also through feelings, through pauses, through music, through silence made fuller by the sound outside. In Japanese, the word ome has been used for rain, and over 50 variations have been recorded, each one marking a different type, a different season, a different feeling. There is kirisome, the light, mist-like rain that barely touches the ground. There is yudochi, the fleeting afternoon shower in summer. And shinobi-yu, the secretive, almost unnoticed rainfall that slips through the leaves in autumn. In these names, poetry has been preserved. Through them, the rain has been allowed to feel familiar, never ordinary, always worth naming. In French, la pluie has been spoken softly, often associated with memory, with nostalgia. Songs have been written beneath its rhythm. Lovers have met beneath shared umbrellas. Old streets have glistened with its touch. And though it has been blamed for cold and for delay, it has also been cherished, for giving the city its soft blur, for encouraging slowness, for deepening the shadows in which thoughts have wandered. In Korean, B has served as a short and delicate name for rain. It has been tied to emotion, to longing, to the quiet melancholy that rainy days seem to bring with them. Poems have described the echo of rain in the heart. Lyrics have captured the sense of solitude made sweeter by its sound. In films and in lullabies, it has been used to wrap the listener in comfort, in stillness, in a feeling without weight. And in many other tongues, Spanish, Russian, Arabic, Swahili, words have been shaped by local skies, by rhythms passed down. The sound of water touching earth has been translated and retraced again and again, and yet something universal has remained. The sense that rain has not needed to be explained, only noticed. Beyond spoken language, the rain has found its way into music. Composers have written pieces inspired by its cadence, notes that rise and fall like scattered droplets. Classical works have opened with the faintest taps, growing into gentle crescendos, then fading once more. Modern songs have layered recordings of rain beneath lyrics, allowing its presence to be felt even when imagined. Its pattern has been trusted more than percussion, its softness more evocative than any drum. Writers, too, have used rain not as plot, but as texture. In short stories and novels, it has framed dialogue, quieted cities, or hidden tears that were never named. It has been made a backdrop for goodbye, for return, for realization. In its presence, characters have said less. And in that silence, more has been understood. Even in daily life, the language of rain has been felt without words. A hand held out under the sky. A coat pulled tighter. A glance exchanged beneath a shared awning. These moments have said what language could not. That the rain was here. That something had changed. That something quiet was being shared. Tonight, outside the walls of wherever this story is being heard, that same language may be spoken once more. Through window pines. Across rooftops. on leaves and stone. Not loud, not dramatic, but constant. Let it be heard even now. Now the stories have been told, the histories recalled, and the quiet rhythms of rain have been followed from ancient ground to present-day windowsills. Each chapter has passed like clouds across a dim-lit sky, unrushed, unforced, only noticed. And still, the rain continues to fall. The world beyond the walls has not demanded attention. Its presence has been felt only in sound, in soft drops on glass, in distant echoes down empty streets, in the hush that has filled the room. Nothing has needed to be done. No questions have been asked. The only request made by the rain has been that it be allowed to remain. Thoughts have been softened. Edges have been blurred. Whatever weight was carried at the beginning may now feel further away, set aside for a time. The passing of minutes has been marked not by urgency, but by rhythm. A rhythm older than clocks. A rhythm remembered by the body more than by the mind. Rain has always been a companion, not loud, not commanding. Simply present. In times of joy, it has offered texture. In times of sorrow, it has offered space. And in times like now, when stillness has been invited, it has offered nothing more than itself. Beyond the roof, rooftops are being tapped. Tree branches are being gently moved. Puddles are being formed in hidden corners. Street lights are being mirrored in glistening streets. Inside, warmth has remained. Blankets have not shifted. Light has been dimmed. And the sound of the rain has continued unchanged. For now, the world may be left as it is. It does not need to be fixed. It does not need to be managed. Let it be watched from a distance, behind the quiet shield of walls and window panes. Let it drift for a while, as the rain has always done. Memories stirred by rainfall can be allowed to settle again. The scent of wet leaves, the feel of wool sleeves pulled close, the quiet mornings delayed by weather, all of it can rest again, folded into the quiet of the present. There is no need to hold on to them. They have arrived and now may fade, like footprints filled by falling water. No end is required. Rain does not end, it simply fades. A few final drops will linger, clinging to corners, gliding slowly down the side of a pane. The last few sounds will be heard, then replaced by silence or sleep. And when the silence returns, it will not be empty. It will be full of stillness, of calm, of breath. In that silence, the rain will be remembered. Not in words, not in pictures, but in feeling. If the rain should continue long into the night, let it. If it should stop soon, that too will be fine. It is not the length of the rainfall that matters, but the space it has created, the space to slow, to soften, to be. No ending needs to be spoken. Just the thought that rain has been here. That comfort has been found. That time has been shared quietly. So let the rain stay a while longer. And let everything else drift.